and a punter. We ought to talk about the punter
from Australia.
I'm telling you right now. This, I know people don't like you want to make fun of Iowa fans for talking about punter. There's a reason he's coming in as a scholarship punter. Okay. Keep in mind, Drew Stevens was not offered a scholarship out of high school. They don't love to offer specialists out of high school. They rarely do it, but they learned from Tory Taylor. Now they offered Ryan Gersonde. He was a punter 4 or 5 years ago out of the U.S. He was, I believe, a 5-star punter. They offered him. He never really punted. He was a holder his whole time at Iowa, and they used a scholarship up on him. That kind of sucks. That kind of sucks in hindsight. But like my point is, LeVar Woods was down in Australia, flew down this past week. He plays for the same program as Tory Taylor did. I don't know if you saw the video. There's a couple of videos that have went viral of him because you don't have a whole lot of information. Like none of the recruiting sites have anything on this kid. I don't even know that I've seen a rating on him formally. I think On3 or Rivals have him as like a 0-star. They don't know anything. It means absolutely zilch. They offered this kid a scholarship. He's got a big leg. There's a couple of videos out there of him booting the football. And I mean, it almost looks like a rocket taking off his foot. And they showed the stopwatch and I slowed it down to make sure that it wasn't, altered in any way. It was a legitimate, it had to have been 55 plus yard kick. And it was in the air for almost 6 seconds. I mean, this thing just, I haven't seen anything. It looks like it had helium in it. Maybe there was some helium. Maybe it was an inflate gate type of situation because that thing just stuck in the air. So, it's important to what Iowa does, Mark. Say what you want about it.
It's important to everyone.
Excited about, yeah.
It should be. It should be important to everyone. The special teams, and especially the punting is at the and field goal kicking is at the crux of the special teams, of course. That's the person that has the skill that the unit's built around is very important. And for anyone that ignores it, then, I could have fed Kirk, if he's not aware, I could have fed him a little bit more fodder for his comments about Lincoln Riley. And he would have been able to say, and we also know that program doesn't have a special teams coach. They don't have a special teams coach.
Yeah.
And they're lousy on special teams.
Can I share this video?
Of course. Sure.
I want you to see this video. And I was not trying to exaggerate this. So just watch this ball travel. And I'm sure Michigan fans will think this is just hilarious that I'm even oohing and ahhing over a guy punting a football, but just watch this. This is again, Iowa commit, and he's going to be a signee here very soon. Reese, I believe it's pronounced Reese. I said Rise. See, I'm thinking of John Rice Plumley, but I believe it's actually pronounced Reese, I believe, because it's an Australian name and British roots, I think.
Well done by you.
Well, no, I'm not. Somebody had to correct me. But all right, just watch this.
Oh my God.
5.66 seconds. Mark.
Yeah, it's tough to get perspective on how far that's being kicked, but it sure looks like it's out there.
Oh, crazy.
I just think that's insane. I just so what I've been told, and I long before that video ever started going viral, I was told by someone who knows a little bit about this young man. He's got a big leg, maybe needs to work on accuracy a little bit, but boy, you can work with that type of a bomber's leg, especially when you have, you've had a history. Hopefully the offense improves enough to where you're moving the ball more consistently and you can pooch punt a little bit more when necessary. Obviously you don't want to punt ever, but the way Iowa plays, you're going to punt. But boy, how many times do we see Tory Taylor during the last 4 years just completely flip the field where you're punting almost out of your own end zone and all of a sudden the ball is at the -20? I mean, it's incredible.
And when you're able to, let's say in the span of a football game of punting 6 or 7 times, be more effective by 6, 8, 10 yards per punt exchange, then you've just added
Very significant.
you've added 80, 90 yards, whatever the equation I just threw out there, to your total offense figures.
And by the way, this is the third straight kid out of this specific program in Australia, Pro Kick Australia. Michael Sleep Dalton, who was Iowa's kicker prior to Torrey Taylor, had transferred in from Arizona State. He was also a product of this program. So they're going to keep hitting Australia hard because it seems like they produce right now. The Australia produces the best punters. And I think there used to be kind of this notion, and perhaps it's because it was factual, that guys who were used to playing rugby, had to rugby style punt. That doesn't seem to be. I mean, these kids are getting equipped for college football.
Does it come from Australian rules football?
Say that again.
When I was a little tyke, we used to watch Australian rules football like in the middle of the night on ESPN. That was like one of their mainstay back before ESPN was a legitimate network that showed major league sports in the United States. You would see all sorts of crazy stuff. And Australian rules football was one of the sports. And it was basically just, I can't even describe it. It was some mixture of football, rugby, soccer. Guys would run around and they would boot the ball easily, like on the go, similar to what you see out of an rugby style punter when they take the snap and they roll out and they kick it. That's how they would kick it.
All I know is whatever type of football they're playing over there, they call gridiron. They call it gridiron, not football, gridiron. So I thought that was interesting, just listening to an interview with him. And I have, just for the record, I'm not afraid to say, I've tried to reach out to this young man, but it is like, see, right now in Australia, I think it's like 5 a.m. We're about 12 hours. Well, are we about 12 hours difference? I'm trying to think, because I know the only reason I know this is because the Australian Open, typically the morning starts in the evening.
Yes.
So, and it's one of my favorite Grand Slams because you can get up and you set my alarm at 3 a.m. and, watch a night match, that began at 6 o'clock their time or whatever. So,
yeah, I dreaded that time of year because when I worked at ESPN, we had the Australian Open. So with the shift that I typically worked, then that was kind of the oversight that I had.
Oh, really? So you didn't like that? You like
tennis was never a good thing for anyone at a TV network because it's so unpredictable. The length of time is so unpredictable
yeah,
of the matches.